Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, I'm Ange, also known as Speaker Art. My recent addiction is collecting fountain inks. So today I'm going to swatch inks from Wearingeul, which is a Korean-based company. My previous video was looking over some colorful swatches. Today I'll be going over these three more muted colors. I do have three other Wearingeul colors I haven't swatched yet, but that will probably be for another video. I also want to do a continuation of Q&As. Previously you guys asked me some questions, and so I'll just go over those. I didn't get to finish it in the last video, but let me just clean my desk. It's always so messy, but I'm gonna use my desk today to swatch instead of the living room. I think someone had previously mentioned that I should make like train stations, but I haven't tried that for cleaning my desk. These are what the swatches are gonna look like. I use Wearingeul thick paper, and then I also use Tombow paper, which is like a thinner paper, but it does extract more of the fountain ink colors. Oh, my bad. It's called Tomo River paper. I cut them into these tiny swatches like a crazy person. The Wearingeul's were already in the sizes that you see here. I've previously swatched these colors, so I'm just showing you guys samples. Essentially what I'm trying to do is collect all of them and add them into a binder. I like that the swatches are able to show the different color variations, whether it's like writing or drawing. So the colors I'll go over today are these three. I believe they all have shimmer in them. Shimmer is the glitter that's in ink, and the pen I'll be using is the dip pen from Kakimori. I'm using the silver stainless steel nib. You'll also need paper towels and a cup of water to change the ink. I'm just going to use my Bendori paper so that I don't bleed onto my desk mat. The first color is going to be A Room of One's Own. This one, I'm kind of scared because it looks very similar to the color next to it, but we'll swatch it and see. So one tip I can give you guys is that if you have some shimmery ink, don't swish it around too aggressively. Try to move the ink around kind of like this, very gently, so that you don't cause air bubbles or you don't cause like discoloration in your ink. So the first thing I'll do is I will dip my pen into the ink. Oops, I spilled a little bit on the side. It's probably not a good idea to be doing this on top of my desk mat in case I do spill, which I have in the past. Look at that shimmer though, kind of crazy. Then I will color in this swatch area on my Wearingeul paper. And the reason I want to do this is so that I can get a dark surface area to see like what does the ink look like when it pools. Okay, so while I'm swatching that, let me get into some of the questions that you guys asked me in the previous video, which is, do you have any exercises for when you're art blocked? Let me think. When I'm art blocked, I feel like the best thing you can do is to not make art, because forcing yourself to make art just seems very difficult. So I don't recommend that. I would say do anything but art. Hang out with your friends, hang out with family, go travel, go take a hike, just chill. Yeah, I think you should definitely just not do art. It's difficult, you know, because you probably feel like you should be doing art. But for me, I know that I can't force myself, so I just try to do anything but art. I think another way I stay creative is I hang out with my art friends or do creative things with my friends. It doesn't have to be drawing per se. It could just be like, you know, what if we're crocheting or like we're cooking or just being creative in general. So that's what I would recommend. Oh, by the way, when I have excess ink on my pen that I'm not ready to dip away or clean, I will just pull out my sketchbook and use the remainder of the ink in here. Also, the paper in my sketchbook, which is like a bleed-proof coated paper, it also makes the ink look differently. So if I was extra, I would cut out my sketchbook and make like even more swatches using this type of paper, but I decided for the purposes of this binder that I'm making, I don't want to use the paper from my sketchbook. I'm actually developing a new sketchbook that is non-coated. It's gonna be like thick 200 grams heavy paper. I think that's the right way to say it. So that's what I'll do. I'll just like try to use all of the ink before I wash the pen. Next question is, how do you balance between business and being creative? How do you balance everything in general, like hobbies and jobs? I think this is a question that I get often in general when I'm working somewhere or when I'm doing my hobbies, because I used to have a full-time job, like a 9 to 5 job, and then I would work on my art business. I would also stream, I would also write books and travel for conventions and still have time to socialize with my family and friends. I think that's still true today, even though I quit my job. I'm still doing like a bajillion things. Like I just opened a retail store. I have this YouTube channel. There is no magic formula for balancing everything. I think you just have to make time for the things that are important for you. For me, that looks like making a calendar and a schedule. So I do actually sit down and I put exactly what I'm gonna do on, let's say, like a Monday, and then I'll do the same for the entire week. So I know exactly what I'm doing every single week, and I'm making sure that I commit to those things. I'm making sure that I'm like not overdoing things as well. But I also want to make time for social things and like relaxing. So in the daytime, I try to work. Afterwards, like after 6 p.m., I try to do fun things like draw for fun or ink swatch, which has been my recent obsession. So I feel like having hobbies for sure helps me to not work so much as a workaholic. This next color is Death of Ivan Illich. Am I saying that right? The thing with all of Wearingeul inks is that they're named after novels, which I think is really cool. So I haven't read this one yet, but it sounds very interesting. So this one also has shimmer, so I'm just gonna like shake it around. But again, don't shake it too hard because we don't want the bubbles and the watery ink to happen. Next question I got is there something you would like to try soon? Whether that is food, activity, clothing styles, etc. For me, I'm always thinking about what is the next art texture or art medium I can try, because I just think it's interesting that we can explore art in that way, whether it's like by subject or by media type. So lately, because I've been obsessed with fountain pens, I really want to try mixing colors together, and I think that could be fun, whether it's like drawing or writing. This project for me is also very exciting because the idea of having my own color binder, I think, just seems very niche and cool. So I think that's what I'm excited for, is to like see what all these inks look like. I tried counting all of the inks that I have. I definitely have over like 75, and that's crazy to say out loud because I just started getting into this hobby. Like I started getting interested in early January of this year, and then around March, April, I started actually buying things. And then I would say, yeah, around April time was like definitely deep into the hobby and being like, oh shoot, I'm actually looking up different colors and different pen types and so on. So I'm excited to dive deeper into this hobby, I would say. Do you and Foam like to cook? If so, what type of recipes do you guys enjoy making? We do like cooking. I would say these days Foam cooks mostly because I enjoy working a lot. I feel like I only cook if I guess if he's not cooking. If he's not cooking, then I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm gonna make something. We like to make Asian food. Since we're both Vietnamese, we like making Vietnamese food. I think that's very like comforting for us since we do not live close to our families. We make a lot of Japanese, Korean dishes, things that you marinate overnight or over like a couple days. We like making that because it feels like meal prepping and you can make a bunch of things. I think for Foam, he's like not the greatest at making vegetables in the sense that like he forgets. He can make things, but sometimes he just focuses on the protein part. For me, I like a balanced meal, so I will include like a side dish with veggies and then maybe some rice or potatoes on the side and then the protein. Some top dishes for us, I would say, is kimchi jjigae. Ooh, we do like pasta as well. We make pho. We make, honestly, like all the Vietnamese dishes. The thing we haven't really done is like bom rêu, but I would say we've done like most Vietnamese dishes. Okay, this question is very silly. If you could be a Pokemon, which one would you be? I'd have to look at the list. There's so many Pokemon. I also can't really remember what happened after Gen 3. I think I'm most familiar with Gen 1, but the other day I got quizzed and I thought I knew Gen 1 to 3, but really I think I know Gen 1 and like my favorite Pokemon. But to draw them from memory, I think it's very difficult because that's what the challenge was that I was doing with friends, and I could not remember for the life of me the Gen 2 and Gen 3 Pokemon that they were mentioning. This next ink, by the way, was something that I was gonna pass on because I was like, oh, it's giving like gray and that's it. But then I tested it and it has like this blue shimmer. It's so crazy. So I'm excited to show you guys what that looks like. But to answer the Pokemon question, I feel like I want to be a competent Pokemon. So maybe something that can like climb things, like Apom, like that monkey Pokemon. It seems very useful. It has like limbs, but it also has a tail that can act as another limb. That's my first pick so far. And it looks cuddly, like it looks like it can hug you. So I want to be like a friendly Pokemon, but I also feel like if I am threatened, I could also be evil. Like Apom looks like it can bite things. Maybe my first pick is Apom for now. If you could travel anywhere, all expenses paid, where would you go and who would you take? Obviously, I would take Foam. I feel like it's very hard for me to travel without him now. I used to be someone who likes traveling alone, or just like, I don't know, I guess like I'm down to travel with different people and just change it up, but lately I'm attached to my partner, so it'd be like that. If I could travel anywhere, I think it would be New Zealand. I've always wanted to go. I heard it was expensive. I don't know if that's true, but I'm a sucker for nature and I love mountains. So I want to go in the rural areas and mountain-esque places. So my top pick is New Zealand. By the way, some of these inks you have to wait a bit before you see the final look. So while I doodle in my sketchbook, I'm waiting for the swatches to dry, and then you can see the full potential of what the shimmer or the sheens look like. Sheen is kind of like when the color changes in the light. These colors though mostly are all shimmer, so there's not like too much sheen, but in other videos you guys might see I have a lot of inks that do have the sheen. Okay, last question for today is, what is your top 3 different ways to do art and which do you prefer and why? Number 1 right now is fountain inks, obviously, because I like to see how the colors change depending on the surface you're using. I like that you can control it with water or how much you're dipping into the ink. And I like that there's so many color variations. Like you can get a red with a green sheen, or like a green with a red sheen. And then there's shimmer, and then there's shading, and then there's like permanent ink. There's just so many variations. So I'm very fascinated by that. And I'm also fascinated that you can mix it with other mediums. So like you can use it as watercolor, or you can just use it as a drawing utensil, kind of like how I'm doing here. Most people, I think, are using fountain inks for writing, but I've been dabbling in doodling, and that's just something that I really enjoy. The other medias I've been using is like alcohol markers. I haven't used it too much just because recently I've been into fountain inks. And then the other one I discovered recently was oil painting. Oh my gosh, look at this red shimmer in this gray ink of the first one. For the second one, you can kind of see it has like a bluish ink, but like a very light shimmer. And for this last one, it's gray, but it has like a really light shimmer. It's hard to see because it hasn't dried yet. Let me show you guys the final swatches for these 3 inks. This first one here, A Room of One's Own. At first, I thought it was going to look very similar to the other inks, but I found out that it's like a gray with some red shimmer. I really like this one. I think in the lighting, it also looks like it has like a red sheen. So the shimmer kind of acts like a sheen, which is cool. So this second one I thought was going to be really similar, but again, it's instead of gray, it feels more like a blue. And then the shimmer is like this, maybe it's like a purpley blue kind of shimmer, but it's lighter and it really does feel like a death. So I just like. And then this one, Half Moon, it's gray, but it has like a blue Shimmer. So I actually didn't wait for it to dry exactly here. I have another video of it a couple hours later, and you can see the blue really shines here. Sometimes I'm scared I'm buying ink and then it turns out that I've just bought like the same ink from different brands, or like they're too similar, but I'm okay with these picks. They're very different to me, so I feel justified. I lost this ruler for so long, but I finally found it. It was just on my desk and I just needed to clean my desk. This is a quick announcement to say that my sketchbooks are finally on my website again. I know it's been like since spring. I've been telling you guys that I had pre-orders. Pre-orders closed early summer, and then I just shipped all of them out. So you guys should have gotten a confirmation email if you signed up for pre-orders. Since I finished all of that, I have relisted the sketchbooks on my website and they'll be up until they sell out, I guess. You heard it here first. I am working on a second sketchbook version. So the one that you guys see now, I actually made a couple of new covers, which I'll share in a bit, but they are bleed proof. So it's nice if you're using like paint markers, alcohol markers, fountain pen ink, Sharpie, honestly, like a lot of durable markers. This paper will take it. It's quite strong. It won't bleed through. It does have like this kind of coat over it. So the paper isn't textured. It's kind of smooth. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's like glossy, but it does have a type of texture. So if you're trying to like smear pastels or smear pencil, I think it's like not the best medium. So I'm making another sketchbook version that is more textured and can probably take fountain ink and watercolor better. We'll see. Okay, so the new covers that I have are these. This series originally came with black, yellow, and green, but I made this white version just cause I wanted to highlight like the sesame colored Shibas. So that's why I made that one. This internet one was around when I released the sketchbooks the second time. It sold out quite quickly, so I reprinted more. The two newest versions that I made is this crane machine one. I actually have a lot of apparel that has this feature design and I brought it back, but in sketchbook version. Look at the little side Shiba. And then I also made this one. It's my recent favorite thing to draw is just like two little guys holding each other and like a bunch of stars all around. And then on the back, it has this like border design. I left the middle blank in case you guys wanted to decorate it with stickers or I don't know, little notes. I thought that could be fun if I left it blank for decoration. Anyways, you guys can check out my website at peekrar.com. Be there or be square. Last time they sold out within like 2 days. So don't wait. Or you can wait because I am making new sketchbooks. I think those will come out in a month, perhaps. They will have the same designs of the covers. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. I post every Monday. And like, comment, subscribe. Okay, bye. Look at Calcifer. He's just little eepy boy. He's doing better. We're trying to feed him a lot so he can gain a lot of weight. Okay, bye for real.